just wanted to see if you guys are willing to do a podcast on some insight about the marijuana industry, weed industry. There's been a major bubble burst, and there hasn't been much, I guess you could say, profitability just yet. But I was just wondering if you guys would think it'd be worth discussing on a podcast and maybe getting some valuable insight from you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Samir.
So here we go.
Samir sounds very Canadian to me.
I was saying the same thing. I was thinking the same thing.
It's a big
Canada,
assumption,
of course.
But let's.
Well, it's not a ridiculous assumption given the little accent there and the fact that we're talking about marijuana, because Canada has approved marijuana dispensaries now, and it's all legal. And so this industry is starting to grow. And of course, this is one of the sin industries, along with alcohol and gambling and, tobacco. So, first thing you have to think about with the marijuana industry is this fit your values? Are you proud to be the owner of a marijuana producing company?
And do you want it to grow and be massively successful? That
Right.
kind of, vibe. Are you excited for more marijuana to be out there?
Right. So you don't want to just buy into things because you think they're going to make money and they're going to go up. You want to buy into things that fit your values. And the main reason there is because there is karma in the world. This is the main reason, as I'm going to state emphatically, like as if I know. But I think there's karma in the world. And when you put in your money into something, you're supporting that thing in the world. And you're making a very important vote for that set of values to be in the world, to be pushed upon your children and their children. And you want to feel good about that. You don't want to be like, one of these horrible tragedy tales of a family that owned the alcohol distributor and their children became alcoholics and died in a car crash kind of thing, where, you're spreading a certain value into the world, and you've got to be able to accept the karma from that value. So I think that's the first thing is, do you want to own a marijuana company?
I got to tell you, in Colorado, where I lived, sorry, my brain is still completely mushy, but I'm still going to try to say this. Where I lived before moving to Switzerland, they were either the first state or one of the first states to legalize marijuana. And it has been fantastic for Colorado. And having legit businesses selling pot has been overall like a really, really good thing for the state. It's been a good thing for the people. It's been a good thing for law enforcement to not have to deal with tiny, petty, small amounts of pot. Like, it's just been overall a really good thing. So I just have to say that because you were very leaning on the negative side there of the values discussion. And I 100% agree with you. And I think that Samir might feel totally fine about investing in a marijuana company. And I would completely understand that.
Well, let me just say that my view of values here was not meant to be one way or the other. Just saying that you accept the karma of that stuff, and maybe you think that's negative or positive. But in terms of whether you like the company or not, the fact that it is producing revenue for Colorado and has legalized, taken out of the dark alleys this sort of product, I think is all to the good as well. Even if whether I support marijuana users or not, I'm really in favor of getting these things out of the darkness, right? That people want to do, and then deal with the consequences legally. Rather, deal with the consequences in the terms of social stuff, right? The interaction with health care and all that, rather than penalizing people for doing something they want to do. And that doesn't mean I want to buy the stock.
Fair enough.
In other words,
yeah.
I don't think it's a great idea to have, super sugary soft drinks out there like crazy. Doesn't mean I think they should be illegal, right? I'm not going to go Bloomberg on you here. So I think that you just got to make a values decision one way or the other, and that's up to you. And that's what's so beautiful about investing. And real investing is incredibly values driven, because it's ultimately about who you are, what your passions are, what you're really involved in, what you really care about. Those are the things that you're going to continue to be interested in over your lifetime as an investor. And you really want to stick to those things, because otherwise two things happen. First, you're going to be putting things in the world that you don't even want in the world. And that's, as we said, kind of bad karma. And second, you are going to be sick of it. You're going to hate it. You're going to not want to. Why would you want to have to own a business that you don't like or you're not interested in? So those are a couple of key things about marijuana. Now, onward to the actual question, which is, are we going to do a whole thing on marijuana? The answer is probably not. And the reason, and I'm just speaking for Danielle as well here, and I haven't even asked her about this, but here's the thing. It's a very new industry, and that means something real important to us as Rule 1 style investors who are baked into the Buffett Munger style of investing, and that is we really need predictability. We've got to be able to buy this company when it's under distress of some sort. We call it an event, but it's basically a company that's in trouble, either because we're in a recession and everybody's in trouble, or the industry's in trouble, or is going through a cycle. There's got to be some reason to create fear around this business, around owning it. Sufficient fear that people are going to sell it off and get away from it. And to be able to go into an industry and buy that business when there's a lot of fear on the part of really smart people around that business, when the vast majority of people are bailing out of that business, you have to have a really high degree of confidence that this business is going to recover from whatever the problem is and be bigger down the road in 10 years. And to be able to do that with a new industry, with companies coming in scrapping for who's going to be the winner, would be like going back to 1910 and trying to pick, the car company that's going to be successful out of the 1,000 car companies that are building up around this new industry. So I can't play that game. I don't know how to play that game. So I am speaking for Danielle on this. She may have a different opinion.
No, I totally agree. I do think it's an interesting thing to think about, like what time period would you analogize? Is that a word? Analogize it to? Would you compare it to?
That's easier for me right there. Yeah.
What period is analogous to the marijuana industry showing up and being run by public companies? And I wonder if maybe it's a little bit, I think this is a stretch, but I'll make the argument anyway, that maybe it's a little bit similar to like early internet times when at the same situation, we didn't know who was going to win, but there were a lot of really interesting companies. I, of course, always think of Netscape and how everybody used Netscape, and it was like the it company, and it is gone and quickly was gone.
Yeah.
But it would have been, I wish I had been an investor at that time, because it would have been a good time to get in as things did start to shake out and the industry became more mature, and it did become clear, like, okay, these companies are probably going to stick around. I don't know if I would have been able to pick winners still, but what am I trying to say here? Watch the companies. If you're interested in them, watch the companies, watch the industry. The time is not wasted. And in a few years could be the time to find a really great company and invest.
That's a really good insight. You just start studying if you really are into it, right? You're a smoker, there's Samir. You get your token, or you
no,
just
Dad,
really
edibles are the way to go.
You like edibles?
That's what all these companies are doing. Edibles are the way to go.
Of course. Yeah. And I think also I read recently that somebody's thinking about imbibing liquids with whatever the
they're doing everything, everything.
So it won't be like sucking up your lungs anyway. So you're gonna be part of this industry, and what Danielle said is exactly right. Now's not the time to be picking something. You're going to be gambling and speculating. If you want to do that, go for it. But just know that you're doing it. You're not investing. There's no way to pick a winner right here. You guys, if you enjoyed this video and you feel it was valuable in teaching you more about how to invest, hit the like button and please share the video with your friends. And if you want more investing content, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the button on the screen. We got a free gift for you. Thanks again for watching.